Hello, I am Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment here with my co-host Manny for our December 2025 State of the Saga discussion.
So I'm Manny, and in these monthly update shows, we'll be talking about what we've been listening to, playing, reading, and or watching, and probably just general stuff that's going on with our lives and maybe even recent pop culture happenings.
Before we get started, just a heads up that you can follow me and therefore all of the Geek Saga endeavors at a Geek Saga on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube.
And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Manisimo Art.
Just a few house cleaning items before we dig in. First, thank you to any patrons who are joining us for the patron-only live stream version of this month's State of the Saga. Second, thank you also to any patrons watching the early release of the live stream recording. You guys are such a big part of helping us keep the lights on, so to speak, for Geek Saga Entertainment, and we truly appreciate each and every one of you and the support you give. Finally, if you're watching or listening to this recording once it's gone public, keep in mind that we record these approximately 2 to 2.5 weeks prior to their public release. And also, pretty please make sure to hit those like and or subscribe buttons. And if you're catching it somewhere where you can give it a rating, it would really help us out if you could mark it 5 stars. Also, if you aren't already part of our Patreon family, please check out our sponsorship options. For just $5 a month, you can watch our State of the Saga episodes live and get access to our show notes, while for just $3 a month, you get early access to these episodes and all podcast episodes, among some other fun content. Check it out at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.
With all that out of the way, we're going to get into our discussion. We're going to kick this month's episode off with news and or general gossip.
So newsy stuff, just a bunch of release dates have come out within the past week or so. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it feels just like a sudden deluge of release dates. Yeah. January 8th, 2026 is The Pit. This is an HBO show. The guy who is like the lead actor in it was Noah Wyle, who is one of the creators or the creator for The Pit. He was on ER. He plays the lead character in it. If you have not watched the show, I highly suggest it. I am not a huge medical drama person. I've never watched ER. I've never watched Grey's Anatomy. I watched House the first couple seasons, but maybe a few seasons, but I kind of fell off that too. But this is a show that, medical drama or not, it is so fucking good. So I am super excited for this to come back. I did watch the vast majority of the first season as like a binge thing. I think all but 1 or 2 episodes were out when I started watching it. So I'm like not, once again, as I always say, looking forward to having to wait week to week. But whatever. It's coming back very soon. I'm very excited. And then I don't think we have exact dates yet, but in March 2026, we get Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and Invincible Season 4. Have you watched Invincible yet? I know we've talked about it before, and I suggested it, but...
No, one of my kids does, and they told me to watch it because they saw me watching The Boys, and they're like, "Oh, yes, you might like this." So
exactly, yes.
But I haven't watched it.
Well, speaking of The Boys, the final season, season 5, starts in April. And have you watched Did you finish all of The Boys yet?
Not yet. I am on the last half of the last season, and I haven't gone to Gen V yet or anything like that. I do want to watch it. People said it's actually good.
Oh, and you definitely are going to want to watch the 2 seasons of Gen V before this season of The Boys comes out. Honestly, they're pretty tied together now. Summer 2026, tentatively June is what I've heard. We're getting House of the Dragon Season 3, not D Season 3. I like that it rhymes.
We waited 6 years for it to rhyme, and here it is.
I was about to be like, wait, no, it's only Season 3. But then I was like, oh, you're right. I mean, maybe not 6 years total, because I think, when did the first season come out? 22? Yeah, 22, okay. 24, 26. But yeah, whatever, same difference. And speaking of shows coming soon, and also Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire shows, we did get a final Night of the Seven Kingdoms trailer that we're going to talk about a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts first, though, because you haven't read the book, so I want to hear what you're thinking about the show from the couple trailers we've seen.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Like I said, it just looks like an adventure show, and I'm hoping it's going to be a little less, obviously it's going to be Westeros political, but just not as much as the original Game of Thrones, which would be nice. But yeah, it just reminds me of Arya and the Hound walking around. And that was like my favorite parts of Game of Thrones to begin with. So this looks right up that alley. It just looks very adventurous. And obviously they're throwing money into it like they have been with all their shows. It looks fantastic. So I am very, very excited for it.
Do you feel like the trailer might have spoiled anything or anything like that? I've been a little bit worried. I know we talked about that. I can't remember. I think it was October or maybe even September's State of the Saga. We talked a little bit about my concerns that they would spoil too much with the trailers, but do you feel like that's the case at all?
No, it's not the case. I mean, I stayed away from rewatching Game of Thrones again because I know that there is a mention of House of the Dragon stuff in there that I went ahead and just avoided completely. I'm hoping that it's not going to ruin it. If it does, it does. I mean, look, let's face it. I've made it so far without getting anything ruined. Like, I think I've made it further than anyone else on that journey. So if it gets ruined, it gets ruined, but I'm hoping that it does.
Yeah, I'm hoping that especially season 1 of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, there's probably some stuff that's like a little bit spoilery in the first season of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but I don't, like you said, I'm hoping they don't throw out major things. And I don't think they will because obviously they want to keep viewers for House of the Dragon. So why would they then spoil major plot points, major character deaths, etc.? I mean, obviously, all those characters are dead anyway because it's way in the future from House of the Dragon, but they have to be smarter than that, right?
I would think so, because if they just started spoiling their own show that's coming on after,
exactly.
they would definitely lose some viewership. So I'm pretty,
especially when they know that not everybody who watches these shows has read the books.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty confident that they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot like that.
Yeah, so we are definitely excited to cover that. As for the trailer, there were a couple points in it where I was a little bit like, this is maybe a little bit too much information for people who haven't read the book, but I'm glad to hear that you didn't feel like they were giving anything major away. That makes me feel a lot better. If you didn't think so, I'm sure there's somebody out there who hasn't read the books that were like, what the heck? They'd spoiled something that I would have liked to have been surprised about. I'm sure there's people out there saying that, but
I will say this. They've gotten me so in love with House of the Dragon that even if they spoiled it, then I would just be watching House of the Dragon to see how they do it or to like see it visually at this point. Even if they decided to go that route, as much as I would hate it, I wouldn't hate it completely because they did such a good job, like at least for me personally, of pulling me in, and loving the actors and loving the writing and all this kind of stuff that honestly, I'd probably be like, all right, well, I want to see it visually then if that's what happens. Or also, that concept of history being written by the victors and all this kind of stuff. It would be interesting if in the show he's saying things, but then it goes back and it's like, no, it didn't happen. And then House of the Dragon ends with them writing it kind of nefariously, hiding facts and all that kind of stuff, which I think that would actually be kind of cool because it would really kind of weld those together, So I don't know. I wouldn't hate it necessarily.
I was also worried about the trailers themselves spoiling major plot points for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which they did a little bit, but I think that if you haven't read the books, it might have, and I don't mean this in a rude way, kind of gone over your head.
It probably went,
bit.
it probably did.
I don't really have any other newsy things. I haven't had time to pay attention to a lot of stuff other than I've been bombarded with release dates, which is a plus. So what about you? Any newsy stuff you've heard of lately?
Yeah, so when it comes to media stuff, my feed has been flooded with these little mini trailers to an Avatar movie that's coming out. I have gripes about this, okay? I think everything I have today is probably gripes, so I do apologize. I guess I'm going to be the Grinch on this one.
The Grinch who stole the Geek Saga podcast.
Exactly. Does anybody still watch these movies? Like, I know there was a second one that had come out, and apparently they do, because I think it's making the same amount of money as the first one did. Because I looked it up, and I was like, wow, that second one made like 2.5 billion, or whatever. And I'm like, that's a lot of money. I did notice that a lot of that money came from overseas and not here. So it does appear to be like a drop here in the States where people are probably just kind of done with it at this point. I think when Avatar first came out, it was such a feat. People just had to go watch it. And I watched it, and it was enjoyable, honestly, but don't hate me. Like, the people who like this, if you like it, that's great. But to me, it was extremely just forgettable. I just didn't care. Now, I don't know if you know the story behind Avatar as to one of the reasons that movie got made. So there was a movie that came out, I think in 2019. It was done from one of my all-time favorite comic book series, okay? It was called Battle Angel Alita. And they just made a movie about it, right? So James Cameron bought the rights to Battle Angel back in like 1999, I think it was, or something like that. So he wanted to make a movie on it, but he knew that he was going to have to use a lot of computer animation. Avatar was technically, from what they say, was technically a test test run to see if people would accept those kind of animated characters, you know, in essence, because since Alita is it's very anime. And if you've watched the movie, you can see that, you know, she's an animated person, pretty much computer animated person. So that was kind of a test run to it. It would have been foolish for him to just drop it after that because of the amount of money that it made, you know, like nobody knows about Battle Angel Alita unless you've read it and you know, most people like it who read it, but nobody knows about it. So he did Avatar instead. And there's a lot of concepts and a lot of things in there that really come out of the Alita series to begin with, but it made so much money that he just couldn't do it. So we finally got the movie like years and years later. The Alita movie finally came out, which was fantastic. It was great. So I was hoping that I was like, okay, great. So maybe we can focus on this now. But then he made the second one and made all this money. The Alita movie really didn't make a lot of money, honestly, because I think that it kind of missed what its demographic is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be for teenagers? Is it supposed to be for adults? You know, the books are very much for adults. The movie is kind of somewhere in the middle. It was geared more towards like a wider audience. So now they're making another Avatar movie. And then I saw that they're making 2 more after this. And I'm just
oh my God. I knew about the third one, but 2 more?
Yeah, there's like 2 more.
Okay.
It goes up into like 2031 or something. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know. I mean, I guess people like it. I don't see it. My biggest disappointment is that they're not throwing the money into the series that I want them to actually make, which is the Alita series, that they're just going to do Avatar. But again, money talks. James Cameron gave the script and everything into like Robert Rodriguez to do the Alita movie. And I think he did a good job considering there's a lot of stuff missing from it. But honestly, when it comes to like anime converted into a movie, I thought that was really damn good. And it was a lot better than some of the past ones that they have done that are anime to movie or whatever. But it's just disappointing. I see those Avatar people and I just get angry.
I still haven't seen the second movie. Dean and Cam saw it. I think they've seen it twice, maybe 3 times. I don't know.
Don't care. Nah, I just don't care. The second thing I'm going to complain about is they're making a new Star Trek series. Awesome. Star Trek Starfleet Academy, which was one of Gene Roddenberry's original visions for the original Star Trek, right? That he wanted to make another series that was about Starfleet Academy and stuff. So what is it that I don't like about this series? Number one, and primarily number one, is that it's just based off of the Discovery timeline. Look, if you liked Discovery, that's great. I'm glad somebody enjoyed it. I fucking hated it, okay? It was not Star Trek to me. And I always tell people, if you want to watch actual Star Trek, watch the Orville. That's the closest that anyone ever came to something like that. It was filmed in the same way, everything much better. So now the Discovery's done. They did like a Section 31 movie also, which was a Deep Space Nine concept also, which was almost got me excited because I'm a huge Deep Space Nine fan. But I watched the trailer and I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. Thanks. And now I saw the trailer to this one, the Starfleet Academy. And Jesus Christ, just let it die. This is one of those things where I'm like, just let it die. Look, when they redid the 2009 Star Trek, right, with Chris Pine and all these people, that first one, the other 2 were garbage, but the first one was actually done really well, and it was very exciting, and it was fun, and it had action in it, and had lots of explosions, because everyone always says that every time they make a Star Trek movie, it's all explosions and stuff. I'm like, but you can do it right, you can do it correctly, and I feel like the 2009 movie actually did that correctly. The other ones, not so much, and the Discovery, I'm sorry, was terrible. So now this Starfleet Academy show takes place at the end of Discovery, because I guess Discovery ended 900 years in the future, or I don't know, some crap or whatever. So now it's like, okay, we're just going to continue off this garbage timeline and just kind of keep going. When I'm just like, because one thing that I hated about Discovery when it came out was that I hate that they were doing another television show in the past. And I didn't like Enterprise for that same reason, right? Because Enterprise took place in the past. And I'm like, you guys have written yourself in a box at this point because the history has already been told. So there's nothing really new that you can do. What I was hoping for was when Enterprise came out, I was hoping that it was going to be like a next generation thing. So that way it's not living within the confines of the next generation / Deep Space Nine / Voyager timeline, but it can do new things and stuff like that. When Discovery was coming out, I was excited because I was like, okay, it looks cool. They got cool actors, like, you know, all this stuff. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is just another thing in the past. I mean, now you got to have to retcon your whole thing now. And now it's like they let that series go and whatever. And then now they have this other one, Starfleet Academy, and now it takes place in that future, which, okay, at least there's no boundaries at this point. They can do whatever they want. And I know what everyone is going to say watching this. Go watch Strange New Worlds because it's really good. And just like the old side, no, it's fucking not.
I like Strange New Worlds, okay? So,
That's
but
great,
I'm also not a huge Star Star Trek person, as you very well know. So I like Strange New Worlds. I like Lower Decks. I think Lower Decks is fun.
Lower Decks is actually the closest you'll get to the kind of Star Trek that I like. Because I did watch Lower Decks. I didn't finish it, but every episode was very enjoyable. There was a lot of callbacks to the series that I liked, which I thought was great. Strange New Worlds, look, I tried. I sat down to watch it. And I'm sorry, man. I was like, you know what? No, thank you. Just give me the nuance, man. Like, what happened to nuance? It's just kind of gone at this point. And it's like everything is just super big budget, super big explosions, and oh my God, and all this stuff. And there's just things that I don't know. The original Star Trek had just nuance, you know, where it kind of like, it was like riding on a surfboard on some waves. It was just taking you for the ride. That's great. Any of this new Star Trek is literally like, sit down, open your mouth, here's a spoon, we're going to shove it down your throat, and you're going to eat what we're feeding you. I just feel like everything is force fed to you, and you can't say you don't like stuff. I'm like, well, okay, I think it's shitty. You know, oh, Star Trek's always evolving. Yes, it is, but there's something with the writing that is off to me, like wrong. I don't know. Yeah. But look, again, if you liked it, great. That's the end of my rant.
I have plenty of friends who are big Star Trek people who don't like Discovery for varying reasons too. I want to say, like with Dean, his biggest issue was that they swear in it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Anyway, yeah, I've heard a lot of people being like, ugh, I don't want this about the Academy show. Why don't they just go into the future? Like, why do they keep going into the past? And as I say this, hello, we're already looking at like House of the Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But the difference
I get it,
is like that stuff has already been written for the most part by Martin. So...
Well, I think the thing with like Starfleet Academy is that, yes, it takes place at the end timeline of where Discovery was, which is technically like 900 or 800 years in the future. I don't know what, which is fine. They get to do like new things, but I just saw the trailer and I just hated it. I don't like the Discovery timeline look. Because the thing is that if they just lowered their budget like the way that Orville does it, right? Even though the Orville is technically a pretty big budget for what they do, but they spend that big budget to recreate the way things looked on the original series. Maybe that way we can have the 24 episode seasons like we used to have. With this one, it's just like, okay, we're going to have strong-willed person number 1, and they're going to be fighting strong-willed bad guy number 2. Do we have vulnerabilities? No, we do not. We're just going to punch each other. And then now we're going to have big explosions. I just feel like any type of character development or actual character development has just been, and I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say just the nuance of the character development has been completely lost, really, since the end of even Enterprise, which I didn't like Enterprise, but I can at least say, you know what, after that, it was just kind of done. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess we'll see what do you think you're going to watch, like even try Starfleet Academy, or are you just going to kind of nope it?
I'm going to try to I mean, I might look. I tried to watch an episode of Strange New Worlds.
Just one.
And just one. In all honesty, I didn't even finish the first episode of Strange New Worlds. I can't remember what made me turn it off, but I was just like, I just wasn't ready to go down that route. There's just certain things I don't want to know about. I don't want to know about Khan's daughter or offspring, and apparently she has a timeline and she's on the ship and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't want to know about that. That was just better being unwritten. And then now we're going to have this whole character arc and this whole character development, which, as far as I'm concerned, retcons the entire thing. And I understand it's going off of a different timeline. Technically, it's like the Kelvin timeline or whatever, and things are different, which is fine. The only newer Star Trek show that I think would have worked was that if they would have stuck with the 2009 cast, that timeline, they had a comic series where they redid episodes from the original series, but with the new cast and how they would have approached it and all this kind of stuff. That would have been a wonderful series to do. But...
Okay, well, let's jump into our Reddit story for the month. I'm going to go ahead and read this one. And so this is a best of Reddit updates story. And the title is I, 28 female, hate, capital HATE, my boyfriend's 32 male hobby. I've been with my boyfriend, who I will call James, for about 5 months now. I can honestly say that I love him. However, one thing is driving a huge wedge between us: his love of, or should I say obsession with, Magic the Gathering.
Oh no.
Right up our alley. Due to the nature of his job, he's on the road Monday through Thursday. We only see each other 3 days a week. I freelance from home, so I mostly have an open schedule. One of those days is entirely dedicated to MTG. I mean, we're at the shop that does Magic, is what she's saying, from 3 until closing. The first one's in and the last one's out always. Mostly I'm okay with this. I know hobbies are incredibly important for socialization and overall they improve your mental health and quality of life. Besides, I was made aware of this weekly tradition very early on in our relationship. Therefore, I never guilt trip him into not going. In fact, I go with him despite not playing or really understanding the game because he likes having me there. Last weekend, he wanted to do Magic Friday and Saturday night. I informed him that I cannot handle 6 hours of MTG 2 nights in a row. I told him he could still go, but I would either find something else to do or stay home and chill. He insisted he would stay with me and hang out, important as his daughters were in town the weekend before and we got 0 alone time together. To be clear, I did not pressure him into not going. I told him I would not make the decision for him. He still chose to stay. That night, he spent 4 or 5 hours playing Magic online while I sat there and tried to get him to actually interact with me to no avail. It was always one more game. He finally quit around 2 a.m. He went to sleep before we could have sex, which is a separate but equally important issue. So I guess, sorry guys, we're going to get into a little bit of sex talk here. Earmuff those kids if you are for some fucking crazy reason listening to this podcast on speaker. Put on some headphones, guys. I have a high libido and he has a low libido. We have sex about once a week, which has never been enough for me. Honestly, go. This alone is a major issue, but okay, girl. I told him at the start that sexual compatibility was important to me as I never want to feel bad for needing sex to feel close to my partner. I was led to believe he shared this view. Come to find out, we are not sexually compatible and he is either unable or unwilling to compromise with me despite numerous talks on the subjects. In 5 months, I could count the number of times he's initiated sex on one hand. I know I can't force him to be in the mood. I'm just sick of the lack of reciprocation and feeling like we would have no sex life if I didn't push for one. He says he feels bad about not satisfying my needs and ignoring me last weekend to play Magic online. However, I don't feel there's any sincerity in his words because we've been here before with my expressing that I would like him to scale back the amount of Magic, the Gathering, in our relationship. The post just says I would like him to scale back the amount of Magic in our relationship, and that can be taken I know that this post is about MTG, but girl, you really should have said I would like him to scale back the amount of Magic the Gathering, MTG, whatever, in our relationship. Reddit, I am at a loss. I've read this sub for years and I anticipate the sort of responses I will get here. In fact, I know what I would say if I were on the other side of the computer screen, but I love this man. He is kind, compassionate, gentle, and loving. This is one of the easiest relationships I've ever been in terms of generally getting along. He is great with my mental health issues. I should mention that he's the first boyfriend I've had in 8 years. Almost all of my 20s were lost to me due to severe anxiety, depression, and addiction issues. I was a hermit until mid-2018. I would say our communication is pretty good. We discuss issues ad nauseum and we do try to compromise. I just don't see the kind of change I desire from these conversations. My main question is, how do I not grow to resent him for his inability to control his magic consumption, for his inability to control his Magic the Gathering, MTG consumption? Is this relationship salvageable or are we too different? Additional context, he was married for 9 years. The marriage ended in 2016. This is the first serious relationship he's been in since, so maybe this is just growing pains. TLDR, my boyfriend is a bit obsessed with Magic the Gathering. When he's not playing it on one of the 3 days we have together each week, he's talking about it or organizing his collection. I cannot deal. There is so much going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
I mean, my first thing is girl, I'm sorry, you're not sexually compatible. Also the idea of we try to compromise, but we have the conversations, but I'm not seeing any compromising from his end. Now, maybe she's not either. We're only getting one side of the story, but it sounds like he has a little bit of an addiction here. And I know friends who play Magic and I know friends who have been able to balance it in their lives. And I know friends who have not been able to balance it in their lives because it does become kind of an obsession. Yeah. And not only that, you spend a lot, not just the time, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
if you're really into it like that. Now, she's not complaining about the money aspect. She's just complaining about the lack of time with him, but also just setting aside the whole hobby issue. Clearly, you are not sexually compatible, girl. Get out while it's still a little bit easy. You can say you love him and that he's kind and compassionate and everything as much as you want, but he's not fulfilling your needs. This early in, what did she say? It was 5 months? 5 months. If you are not having enough sex 5 months into a relationship, get the fuck out.
Wait, I missed that. They're only 5 months into this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, girl, go home. It's time to go. It's time to go at that point. Honestly, if it's 5 months in and like you're already having to say things and things aren't changing, because 5 months in is still like the excitement period. That's
Yeah,
still
especially with
like,
sex.
especially with sex. This is still the fun times. 5 months, 5 to 8 months is when you get to the weird stuff. That's like this is the good times to have, dude. If you're already having yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So, update. The update that she posted, it had been 9 months since she made that original post. She got some good advice. She mostly ignored it. Shocker. I wish I could say I walked away shortly after that post, which had been posted 9 months prior. I know deep down I should have, but I didn't. We stayed together almost 14 months. And not only did the situation not improve, it got much worse when he lost his job.
Oof.
Still, though, I loved him and I thought he loved me. I stayed and tried to remain patient with him. After all, he had lost his job, and that's an obvious stressor. Then he got into school an hour from our hometown shortly before our 1 year anniversary. And it was decided that we'd move in together the following month once I found a job in the big city. The way that's worded is silly. I did that a few weeks ago and I thought things were on track. Exactly 1 week before I was supposed to start my job and we were to officially move in together, he became emotionally distant, which he expressed was because of stresses associated with a full-time job and taking night classes. But he never communicated any problems. Then he snapped at me on his way to work after ghosting me pretty much the whole day. He let me know he was rethinking our relationship. We didn't get to have a conversation about it for almost an entire day. We talked. He said he needed more time to think and he would let me know what he decided on Friday. Then he called and broke up with me in a 10-second phone call 5 minutes before work that same night.
Wow.
Oh my God. Like an idiot, I still clung to the idea that I could fix things if only I could show him living together would be fine. He allowed me to stay with him for 2 weeks while I looked for my own place in the city, and we decided to give it a try. I got up there and realized I hated the city, hated the job, and could not emotionally handle being around a man who explicitly told me spending time with me felt like an obligation and his video games or chill time were more important. Just hit me in an inexplicable wave. I left work and sobbed in the parking lot. Then I suddenly knew this man-child was never going to not be selfish or prioritize anyone over his wants and needs. Shocker. I spent the last year being the cool girlfriend who didn't rock the boat. I put my needs to the side in order to sustain a relationship that was never going to work. One comment from my original post has remained in my head since I last read it. I know guys like this, and their fundamental character attribute is selfishness. He shows it by monopolizing your time, and he shows it in the bedroom or while he's on his computer and you're in his bed alone. Okay, so yeah, TLDR, the boyfriend was addicted to Magic the Gathering and video games. He preferred them over her. Their libidos were also mismatched. They broke up, and she's better for it. Just a couple comments from the update. What resonated with me was you're talking about being the cool girl. I always tried to be the cool girl too. After some recent discoveries about my significant other and getting into therapy for myself, I'm finally okay with myself and not being cool. I'm not going to compromise any longer to try to make myself fit with another person. There's another comment that's a little bit longer that I'm not going to read. But yeah, it's not just cool girl, like cool person. If you pretend like nothing bothers you in a relationship, or you never confront a person about your issues, or you try to compromise, but then you're the only one who's compromising, it's like at some point you got to stop being cool, quote unquote.
Yeah, man. It's cool to be cool like for a day if something is going on or something. You're like, hey, don't worry, honey. You've had a rough day. Go sit behind your video games and I'll make you some dinner or something and you can just chill. Yeah. But if it's like that, and I'm sorry, man, do people just, I don't know, like if you got like a girlfriend or a significant other, dude, you should probably spend time with them. It's okay to like have your days where you just like, okay, today I'm going to sit here and play this video game or play Magic the Gathering. I've never played Magic the Gathering. I had friends that played Magic the Gathering, but I didn't know that you just would sit in those game places for like 6 hours or 8 hours. It's like, dude, you guys aren't even betting over money or anything. Like, what is going on here? At least with
but poker, in a way they kind of are because of the amount of money they spend to get like the special cards that get them the wins. And there are tournaments that people do win money at.
Well, yeah, if you're winning money or you're winning like pink slips, like you get to win their deck or something, and like after you beat them, like, okay, that's kind of different. I guess you could actually use that to just make money with, because you can just sell whatever you win and all this kind of stuff. That's fine. I don't know. I guess I just don't get it because I've just never been a big card playing those kind of card games and stuff. I've never really been into them. So,
and this is no judgment on anybody who plays Magic or anything like that. If able to balance that with your life. I mean, in this case, if you're with somebody and you're playing Magic the Gathering for the vast majority of the time that you have to spend with this person, then that's a problem. That relationship isn't going to last, whether it's 5 months in or 9 months in or 14 months in or however the fuck this, went on. Like, it's not going to last if you're spending what is supposed to be most of your quality time playing a game. And I mean, I've been in relationships too, where you're, living with somebody and you come home from work and maybe you eat dinner together and then they're on their computer on, honestly, like I'll give an example of Reddit the whole time. I'm not going to say who it was, but if you're sitting on your computer scrolling through Reddit for 6 hours at night and I'm like, I need to go to bed, I got to work tomorrow, and you need less sleep than I do. And it's not Dean. I will say that it is not my current relationship. That's not cool either. It's important to have your own interests and hobbies in a relationship, but to an extent.
Yeah, well, I really think that like the magic and video game part here is not really the problem. It's just the content of the character. And it's like he just has an addictive personality and he sees these things as more important than his significant other. And again, if you're doing that 5 months into a relationship, like that sounds like somebody would be doing that like 15 or 20 years in a relationship. Things are just kind of like, oh, whatever. They're just very normal or mundane. But 5 months into it, no, you probably should have bailed around that time instead of sticking around for the 14 months and relocating and then realizing, oh shit, this sucks.
If you're seeing somebody 3 days a week for 5 months and your libidos are not compatible, get out. It's not going to get better, y'all. If it's not good that early in, it's not going to get better.
5 months into it, this is like the starting line. And if she's 5 months into it and already has backstory of how, oh, we're only having sex once a week, that means, okay, this has been happening for probably 3 or 4 months at this point. So like really 1 month into it, you probably should have kind of saw which way the wind was blowing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, sounds like she got out of that relationship, and hopefully the guy that she was with, I don't know, maybe you'd hope that he would have sort of a revelation, but considering how it ended, I'm going to say I doubt it. And the fact that he'd been married before, wonder how that marriage ended. Just saying. Wonder what he told her and how much of it was true.
Yeah, like what was it that broke that one?
Let us move on to what have we been watching since our November State of the Saga about a month ago.
I started rewatching Star Trek The Next Generation because that show is fantastic, especially in light of the other Star Trek projects. I needed to kind of rinse my mouth out with something, rinse my eyes out with something. So I did with Next Generation. Now, I will say, the first 2 seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation are pretty fucking awful. They are not good, but it's a testimony to how television shows survived back then as opposed to now. If you watch any television show from the late 80s, even mid 80s, earlier than that, most of those television series had bad 2 or 3, 4 season going on before they got good. And I felt like the executives and whatever television people gave shows more of a chance to grow, because that's what you see in like The Next Generation, right? Because the first 2 seasons, it really tries to be too much like the old series and it's not very good. And I didn't like it. When you get to that 3rd season, that's when it gets really freaking good. It's just funny because if Star Trek Next Generation would have been released today, the way it is, it probably would have got canned after the first season and it would have just been forgotten about, and that's it. So you always got to give shows a chance. And even though, like with Discovery, like with Starfleet Academy, yes, I don't like it, but give it a chance to be good. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 seasons for it to actually catch, and then it's good. And I'm okay with that. Let's face facts. I'm not spending money on any of the development, so I'm not losing any money by the show being released or whatever. So, but that was about it. That's the only thing I've been kind of rewatching.
Do you watch any specific holiday stuff, or are you planning on watching any, since it is December, like Christmas movies, any shows, anything like that? Yes, tell me about it.
Yeah, so we did our first Christmas movie last weekend, me and Jen. One of our favorite Christmas movies is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We just love it. That's actually been a Christmas movie in my house with my parents for many, many of years. So I was very, very excited to find out that she was a big fan of the movie and that was one of her Christmas movies. So I'm like, perfect. So we got to do that, have our first Christmas movie watching. But there's other Christmas movies and things that I watch. So I generally will do the Doctor Who Christmas episodes. We do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you haven't watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, please go watch that movie. It's one of the best written noirs of all time. It has Robert Downey Jr. in it, Val Kilmer in it. Fantastic movie. It came out a few years, I think, before the first Iron Man movie, and Shane Black was the guy who gave Robert Downey Jr. a chance to get back on screen again after all the fiasco that he was going through and the struggles that he was going through. And it really kind of put his name back on the map again. But it's a fantastic movie. And then another Christmas movie we do is Iron Man 3, which is also done by Shane Black.
Oh, Iron Man 3.
Yeah. So I liked it. A lot of people didn't like that movie.
I did not, but listen.
Look, I'm gonna say this. It's my favorite Iron Man movie.
Oh my God, Manny.
Yeah.
I feel like
really
I don't
is.
even know you.
It is because of its level of vulnerability that the character has. Like, I felt like it focused more on Tony Stark and less on the Iron Man aspect of it. As like a story arc kind of thing, Iron Man 3 is definitely my favorite, and I feel the most relatable out of all of them. Because the other ones are like, oh, cool, here's my suit of armor, I'm kicking ass. But in Iron Man 3, the guy's having a meltdown, a panic attack, and anxiety attack all at one time. It's cool to look at your heroes, and heroes are great because look at like, oh, he's so cool, he's got cool cars and like all the stuff. But to get to see the actual human behind the suit, to me personally, I understand everyone's gripes about it.
Oh,
and
yeah. I like that part of it. That part of it makes
I
understand.
sense. I understand that everybody hates the Mandarin part of it. Okay.
Yes.
Because of the Mandarin. I'm going to say this.
And the little kid, honestly. The little kid thing is stupid too, if you ask me, but
The little kid thing is kind of weird. Yeah, no, for sure. But the Mandarin part of it, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. I actually liked that Mandarin better than the actual Mandarin because it went into this concept of like false flag terrorism. There's actually a very serious subject behind it that people probably just didn't really look into, but it's a concept of like false flag terrorism and all this kind of stuff, which I thought was really cool the way they tackled it. And with Ben Kingsley, I mean, come on, this guy is one of the best actors of all time playing this character. And he was so goofy, as Trevor Slattery or whatever. And it was, I'm sorry, to be an actor of that quality, of that class, to be doing this kind of fuck around character, I thought was fucking fantastic. And I loved it. So I don't care what anyone says, I loved it.
So for me, I'll get into what I'm not going to go into detail on the things I've been watching because a lot of it, I don't really have much to say or anything. But just to start with holiday/Christmas wise, I am very much a bad Christmas romance movie person. And I love them. It's been, gosh, when was the first time? I think it was like maybe 2012 or 2013 when I first started watching Hallmark Christmas movies, like back when I still actually had cable. So I don't see as many Hallmark ones anymore because I don't have cable, but Netflix and other streamers have put out plenty of shitty ones over the years. And back when I lived in Greenville, my friends and I would all, Becca and Ren and I especially, would all get together and pick a couple bad Christmas movies to watch and stuff. So what have I watched so far this year? My Secret Santa, which is on Netflix. It is something. It's got Alexandra Breckenridge in it. She was in Walking Dead. She's been in other stuff too, but for some reason, the only thing I can like really remember her from is Walking Dead. But it is basically a reverse Mrs. Doubtfire with Santa. We're just, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. It's so ridiculous. And then I watched, was it My Merry Xmas, I think is what it's called. Where
I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
It's new this year and it's on Netflix and it's got Alicia Silverstone and Melissa Joan Hart in it. And it's like a couple that's just recently decided to divorce because their kids are finally old enough for them to do that. I don't know. Yeah. We just grew apart. Do you want to guess what happens in the end?
Oh, Jesus. What happens?
No, I don't want to spoil it, even though you know what's going to happen like 20 minutes into the movie, maybe 30, but it's fucking ridiculous. And especially because it's like Alicia Silverstone is, in real life, she's very environment forward, shall we say. So her character, and listen, I'm not knocking that. I totally agree with like, let's protect the environment. But in the movie, she's like, I have never bought our kids anything other than gently used clothing and everything has to be sustainable and everything. That's like, that's nice for you, rich person. I mean, maybe the used clothing, that's one thing, but like everything has to be sustainable in other ways is not easy for people who don't have money.
Yes.
Energy efficient appliances, et cetera, like solar panels on your roof. That is not cheap. But anyway, it's fucking ridiculous. To be honest, I'm not sure which is more ridiculous. The My Secret Santa. I think My Secret Santa is more ridiculous. They're each their own thing, I guess. And then I started one today. I have not finished it yet, called Champagne Problems. I haven't finished it, so I have nothing to say about it other than the main character is played by Minka Kelly. And I also recently started watching a show that Leighton Meester had a guest spot in. And then last month I talked about Platonic on Apple TV that has Rose Byrne in it. And I swear to fucking God, I cannot tell the three of them apart. And I know that they were all kind of big in like the early 2000s. So it's like, was that just the era of brunette girls, like wafy brunette girls who all have the same cutesy little, like they're all a very attractive women, but ask me to tell them apart. I
can't do it. Nope.
I wish I had more Christmas movies that I'd had time to watch recently, bad Christmas movies particularly. Just for holiday traditions, I always watch Elf.
Oh,
always
Elf for sure.
Yeah, always watch
Elf for sure. Elf was never like a Christmas movie that we did, but I do appreciate it as a Christmas movie, and it really needs to be in the rotation for my Christmas movies for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It definitely belongs there.
Are you going to rewatch Love Actually?
No, I won't be. But I appreciate you asking.
For those who have not listened to our Love Actually holiday special that we did last year, you should definitely check it out. Just saying. It was a 90s and naughties cringe factor episode because the movie came out in like 2003, but also it was our Christmas special.
Yeah, that was our Christmas special.
I'll probably get into a little more detail on some of these next month, but things I finished or continued watching from last month, Loot, which is the Maya Rudolph show I was talking about, that wrapped up. I don't know if I loved the ending of the season, but it is what it is. The show itself is still fun. Elsbeth, which I think I've wrapped up the episodes that have released up until now. It was my bedtime show until I finished it like last week, and it's a fun little show. There's nothing super special about it, but it's fun to watch. Pluribus, I am behind on this. I've only watched like the first 4 episodes because then Dean got here and I was like, oh, well, you need to watch this. So then we started watching it again. We haven't caught up to the new episodes yet. I think I haven't seen at least 2 of the newer episodes. Have you started it at all?
I have not even started it. Okay. I think at this point, I'm just waiting for them to stack up because I'm not getting any spoilers or hearing anything about it that I'm like, it looks like a slow mover. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to get them stacked up, but I'm definitely very interested in it.
Did you see the thing? I posted a story. It's on Instagram, but it's also on the Geek Saga Facebook page that was like, woman named Carol thinks she's having a sort of existential crisis when she gets an ad for Pluribus on her fridge because the ad, it said like Apple TV at the top and the ad was like, we're sorry we upset you, Carol.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that's not the best and also scariest like advertising ever.
Yes.
Did I mention last month that I started Bunheads? I think I did. It's an Amy. Yeah, I did. Amy Sherman Palladino show. I finished it. There's only 1 season. It ends at a weird fucking spot and it was just canceled. So that's kind of, I thought at least it would have like an interesting season wrap up. I don't even care. I knew that it was over after 1 season. So I wouldn't have even cared if it ended on a cliffhanger, but I feel like they canceled it without even finishing the season. It was very odd the way it ended. It was still like a fun little, if you really love Amy Sherman Palladino, definitely watch a thing. But
is that a Netflix show or?
No, this was like, it came out in like 2012. So I watched it on Hulu. I mean, Disney Plus / Hulu, it's not, you can access it from either. I don't think you would really like it. Like, I know you liked Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and I know you liked what you've seen so far of Gilmore Girls, but it's probably the least Amy Sherman Palladino show of the ones I've seen, but I don't know. It was good. Like, it's fine. It's just like it's a very niche type show, honestly.
I was just wondering if it was because the way you made it sound just sounded like Netflix, because Netflix loves to give up on shows.
Yeah.
And that's why
I think it was CW back in the day. Yeah. Gen V, which the whole season had come out a while back, but I just watched it when Dean got here. This is something I'll definitely have things to say in our January State of the Saga, but the first part of the final season of Stranger Things, I did watch watched that. And I actually rewatched the fourth season of Stranger Things right before this release because I was like, I don't remember enough. I wanted to remember all the nuance things. So I rewatched the fourth season. And I think rewatching the fourth season made me appreciate some of what I saw in like the first part of this season. I'll get into it after the whole season has released for sure. But at the same time, it's like, my God, these children are not children. They're in their 20s. They all look like they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe Dustin could pass for like a high school senior, but that's pretty much it. I started watching It Welcome to Derry back in October, and I definitely didn't mention it in our November State of the Saga. And I don't think it came out early enough for me to have mentioned it in our October State of the Saga. But either way, the show is fucked up. Like, if you're a Stephen King fan, you'll probably really like a lot of things about it. I mean, I do like it, but it is body horror to the extreme. If you don't like clowns, obviously it's called It Welcome to Derry. So, you know, if you don't like clowns, don't watch it. I think the final episode is this coming weekend. Again, that's another one where I'm sure I'm going to have things to say about it. Oh, Dean insisted that we start watching the newest season of The Witcher. I don't care.
I heard it was bad. I heard the new season is terrible.
It's what I'm barely paying attention to it. I didn't really want to watch it. I wasn't really all that fond of the second season of the show. And like with Henry Cavill not being there, the change to Liam Hemsworth, like that, obviously it's a different person. Sometimes he gets it right and sometimes he doesn't. That is what it is. To me, the biggest thing is just like, it's just, I don't know what's going on. I stopped caring waiting so long between seasons. Dean wanted to watch it, fine, whatever. And then I did finish season 2 of Nobody Wants This. It's a little like rom-com show with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. And I love Adam Brody. He is my type. Okay. He is.
Which one is Adam Brody now?
Oh God, what else is he in? He's from the OC, but I never watched the OC. But he's one of the main characters. He's just a tall-ish, slim-ish, dark-haired, nerdy-looking dude. So anyway, it's like a cute little rom-com. It's a little bit like repetitive. The whole shtick is that she's an agnostic sex podcaster and he's a rabbi. And so the whole first season was like, well, can we really date? Because she's not Jewish. And then it was like, well, maybe I'll convert. So let's date anyway. And now this whole season was like, will she convert? Will she not convert? And it went back and forth and back and forth. And she's still like, I don't know if I want to convert. And in the end, he's like, I guess it doesn't matter anyway, because you're my soulmate. And it's like, okay, well, this is cute, but stop stretching this out. Convert or don't. End the relationship or continue. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
What have you been reading lately? Anything?
No, I haven't been reading anything, honestly. I've been spending so much time with just work and helping Jen get moved in and all that stuff that I really haven't done any of that.
I've actually been reading a little bit more now that Dean's here, weirdly enough. I don't know why that is the case, but
once you're back in your comfort zone, you start doing the things. That's what it is.
So last month I talked about, I was reading Harrow the Ninth, which was the second book in the Locked Tomb series. I was very confused about what the fuck was going on, but I was like, I hope it'll all make sense in the end. Guess what? It did, for the most part anyway. I continued to love the series while I was reading it because I was like, this is making me so insane. I haven't been this just like, what the fuck about a book in a long time, and not entirely in a bad way. And I was actually thinking about starting like a non-related book when I finished Harrow the Ninth, but I was so just kind of stuck on the way that book ended that I ended up starting Nona the Ninth, which is the third book in the series instead. So, and I'm enjoying Nona the Ninth way more than I enjoyed Harrow the Ninth at the start. I mean, I'm confused as fuck again about who's who in certain aspects of this third book, but in a different way than the last book. And also Nona, she talks about dogs a lot. And I think that's just made me love her. Audiobooks. I finished the Villains and Virtue series that I had been listening to for a while. It was 3 books total, but limited Spotify listening time. The last book was called, I think, Eclipse of the Crown. The last half or so of that final book felt really rushed after so fucking many side quests in the first 2 books and the first half of Eclipse of the Crown. But I don't know. Like, overall, I still enjoyed the series. I would only suggest it to certain people because it's definitely like a romantasy with hardcore D&D elements. It's definitely was it something I would have picked up willy-nilly? No. Is it something I would have kind of been like, if I'd purchased it and read it, But as like free audiobooks, it was a fun thing to listen to. And then speaking of like Christmas stuff, I'm in like this little book club with my sisters and some of our other local friends. And the book that they picked in November for December was this book called The 12 Topsy-Turvy, Very Messy Days of Christmas by James Patterson, who I've heard of, and somebody named Tad Safran, who I've not. It's just like, listen, it's a Christmas book. It's not my thing. I finished it today, actually. So it felt like it was written for children or something. I don't know. It felt like it was written for children. It was silly, whatever. It was a free thing that I listened to. And that is that. That is my, at least I listened to a holiday thing to talk about in our December State of the Saga. What have you been playing lately?
So I recently picked up the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster. It's pretty much a Final Fantasy game, but just like a tactical RPG. This game is a problem, but not because of the remake. It's just because this is a game that this game originally came out in 1998, I think. And I have been playing this game on and off since 1998. Okay, I'm going on my 27th year of back and forth. This game is a bad relationship that you keep going back to and that you know is going to fail and you know you're going to not have a good time, but you keep doing it because there's just something fucking familiar about it. But I will say that although this is not the first time the game has gotten some kind of remaster, this truly is the best. If you like tactical games and, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, man, you should check out this game. It's very much on that same kind of storytelling and stuff like that. Fantastic game. That's what I've been playing. Not much of it, honestly. I'm probably just like a few hours into it. I play like 10 minutes before I fall asleep. I finally had picked it up again. I bought it when it came out and I played for like an hour and then I didn't touch it for like a month or something. And then I finally just got back into it. As frustrating as that fucking goddamn game is, there's something relaxing about it. And the music is fantastic behind it also.
Surprise, my prediction about not having the time to play anything once Dean and Cam arrived came true. Maybe it's not so much the time as like, well, it's the time and also the access to the PlayStation by myself. So yeah. I don't know. I feel weird playing video games and somebody else is just sitting there. That's just me.
Yeah, me too.
We don't have extra rooms, TVs, etc. in my house for like both of us to be playing something at the same time right now. Have you been listening to anything?
No, same stuff, man. I've been listening to a lot of lo-fi night drive stuff just because I've been very heavily involved in some studies that I've been doing relating to my job that I just needed things to kind of like zone me in and like focus. And lo-fi and night drive music is the stuff that I listen to kind of, it occupies that. Like when I did really good art was because I had things on in the background that I've already seen 30 times. Like I needed a distraction as I was trying to focus. And this is one of those same situations.
I listened to my ridiculous, what was my Dragon Con 2025 playlist, but then like I added more songs to it after Dragon Con and it became my cleaning playlist.
I can relate to that.
A bunch like in my last minute crunch before Dean and Camden arrived, but then my audiobook minutes re-up. So I basically just been listening to audiobooks the past couple of weeks. And also like they're here. So I'm not blasting loud music on my living room stereo system while I try to clean the house, like while I try to keep myself interested in cleaning that.
Yeah.
Any upcoming events or things you're excited about?
Yeah, I'm just excited about Christmas time. Everything in my house is like everyone's really pumped for Christmas. Got rid of our old tree that we used to have, which was like we don't have any live trees because we don't want to deal with that. But we had like one of those half trees that was only like 3 feet tall or 4 feet tall or something. And finally, for the first time after many years, we got still fake, but like a full size Christmas tree. So everyone is super excited for it. We got a little fire pit outside now. We're definitely just looking forward to the Christmas and New Year's time. What about you?
Yet again, especially with all the extra shit in my house, I don't have room for a full-size tree, so I have a pencil tree. It is tall. It's taller than me, but it is like a skinny, literally it's called a pencil tree, but it's a fake, pre-lit. It is a forever tree in the corner of my living room because there's no point in taking it down. Actually, after we record this tonight, we're going to throw some ornaments and stuff on it. And I have some other, like I have decorations for my mantle and stuff like that we're going to throw up. And then barring any major complications, I will be in New York City for my birthday, which for those listening to this as a podcast, we are recording this on December 10th. So I should be in New York City for my birthday and my work holiday party. And yeah, I'm going to be there for like almost 5 days. I'm going to be there for almost 5 days. I've been in New York City. I mean, I grew up in Connecticut, so I've been a million times when I was younger. And then I've been there for my work holiday party the past 2 years as well. But this is the first time I've actually been there for like 5 days. I'm not looking forward to the cold, but I am looking forward to, Dean is coming with me. So I am looking forward to showing him some more New York City stuff because he's only been there, I think, once before. And it was for like a convention. So he did and saw some things, but we have some plans. I've made some reservations for meals and stuff like that.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I get to be here in South Carolina for Christmas with my family for the first time since 2020,
Wow.
which is just, listen, I loved our holiday stuff in California. We always had like friends over on Christmas Day and we would just cook throughout the day and drink throughout the day. And it was always a blast. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be back with my family again. Cause as much as like I would have fun, I would also just be like a little bit depressed about missing my parents, my sisters, my brothers-in-law, my nieces and nephews. So yeah, I'm very excited to have Christmas with them. And then New Year's, I guess, I'm supposed to have a party at my house. So like fingers crossed that still happens. There's still some, I don't want to be a downer, but there is some family health stuff going on where that might kind of change certain holiday plans, but we'll take that as it comes. And if I do get to have a New Year's Eve party here, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Nice.
As we close out the episode, we once again want to give a huge thank you to our patrons for their support. Make sure to check out our other Geek Saga show series, including Media That Made Us, 90s and Naughties Cringe Factor, the impulsive, hyper-focused solo episodes, and more, including the most recent Media That Made Us Cringe episode that we put out. We put out our Twilight episode. Actually, we're recording this on December 10th. So it came out, I want to say like 2 or 3 days ago, the 7th or the 8th. Definitely check those out. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, or rate us 5 stars wherever you're watching or listening. And as always, consider supporting us by backing our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Yes, happy holidays.